In our last tutorial we looked at forest sets, a new plugin that you can use to share scene items between forest objects. To further expand the options for creating interdependent scatters, Forest Pack 8 also adds the ability to link to areas and surfaces used in another Forest Pack object. Let's take a simplified example to illustrate how it works. There are two rollouts that have gained a new linked areas option. That's areas and surfaces. We'll start by looking at the latter. In this setup I have 5 forest objects, all of which will be applied to the same surface terrain. Rather than add all of the items independently, this new approach works well if you assign one object as the parent and the others as its children. The children will automatically get the areas that are assigned to the parent, making it easy to control several scatters from one location. To set this up, first pick the child forest object. Go to the surfaces rollout. Click the new button below the surfaces list labelled Get from Forest and select the parent forest object from the scene. Any areas added to this parent will now automatically be used by this child as well. If you ever want to break the connection, you can just click this clear button. Now let's do the same thing for the next 2 forest objects. In each case, I'm linking them to the same parent forest object. When that's done, it's important to note that although they're linked and they'll all be sharing the same set of surfaces, each forest object still uses its own parameter values. This allows us to use the same surface, but for example use a different altitude range to constrain the reeds in the stone so that they only appear around the waterline. And here's how this all pays off. If I now select my parent object and assign this surface, you can see that all 4 forest objects are updated in one click, like a little ready-made ecosystem that's based on the water level to add different scatters. Also, I can easily add additional surfaces to this parent now. So if I come over to the left hand side here and add this new terrain, again all 4 scatters will be updated to add the ecosystem to this other bank on the left hand side of my scene. Now this feature isn't restricted to surfaces either. Similar controls are available in the areas rollout as well. In this case though, rather than load the entire contents of another forest object's areas list, instead you link to them individually. To illustrate, I'll select the grass scatter and add a paint area in exclude mode. I can then use this to remove some grass, perhaps to add a path. Now, if I wanted another scatter to add some stones, leaves and other windfall, I don't really want to have to paint that path all over again. It's inefficient, and later if I change the path, I'll have to do it from 2 or more different forest objects. So instead, I'll link them to the existing area, and here's how. First, I'll add the surface to the new forest object, just like we saw earlier by linking to the parent. Next, I'll go to the areas rollout. So over here you can see there's a new button called Add Linked Area. I'll click it and select the grass forest object. You can see there's a drop down list here, and that allows me to select the area in the linked forest object that you'd like to use. In this case, I'll pick the paint area I just created. Now just like surfaces, although this area is linked, it does retain its own local parameters, and that means that although the original area was set to exclude, in this scatter I can use it as an include area. And now if I go back to the grass layer and start painting, you can see that in this scatter I'm excluding the grass, but at the same time I'm automatically adding leaves and litterfall to the path using a second forest pack object. You're not limited to paint areas either. Any area type can be linked in the same way, so that using this approach you could have a single or even multiple parent forest objects that control all the areas for several children, without the need to assign them multiple times. And to reiterate, parameters that are specific to each type of area are inherited, but common parameters such as include, exclude, falloff, etc. are local and can be modified per forest object for some incredibly flexible setups. Combining forest sets and linked areas makes it easier than ever to create huge, flexible, interlinked ecosystems.